Alhamdulillah, praise and thanks be to Allah, and peace be upon all His prophets and messengers, alayhimus salam, from Adam alayhi salam to the last prophet, to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all the prophets in between them, and especially upon the last prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Prayer, not obligatory. If you're expecting a one-word answer, don't expect so. Then it would not have been a cause enough for us to record this lecture or session. We will explain this from multiple angles. At this point of time, you may be thinking, okay, so what would be the possible different ways to deal with the subject? So bear with me, we will explain it one by one. Point number one, if you have heard me carefully, you would have heard prayer not obligatory ? The word I have used is prayer, which in the English language has around 8 different connotations, 8 different meanings, ranging from religious to spiritual to secular to legal and others. And even among religious, it can refer to in different ways to refer to worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the God vis-a-vis worship of a God. So you can understand the difference. It has several connotations. So that word itself is not very appropriate. So in that context, we can say prayer is not obligatory because it has many different connotations. Okay. Now, let us stop playing around with the words and focus on the core issue at hand. And if we mean prayer by prayer, Islamic prayer or salah, then the question can be rephrased as salah not obligatory ? Now, this becomes a more critical question to ask. And the answer would seem obvious to all of us. What sort of question is this? But wait. We will answer it thoroughly and fully. Let us first understand that if we mean, for example, when we say salah not obligatory ? I would say it is not obligatory for the reasons you think. It is not obligatory. Mark my words again. It is not obligatory for the reasons you think. You will be shocked. You would want to label me as a kafir, but wait, hold on. You can do that. You're free to do so. But hear me out. Hear the full lecture. Salah is not obligatory for the reasons you think. Because today when we think of salah, we think of it as a burden. We think of it as what? As a burden. But it was never meant to be so. For example, there is a verse in the Quran. It is from Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 286, where it is mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah does not burden a person except it has the capacity, he or she has the capacity. Allah, hear me out again, Allah does not burden a person except he or she has the capacity. To bear it is obvious. Now, this verse is important and we need to know. So normally when we divide the Quran, we divide it into 2 parts. The verses which were revealed in Makki verses, and the verses which were revealed in Medina, the Madani verses. So verses revealed in Makkah and the verses revealed in Medina. But not all of the verses can be classified into this twofold categorization, because many of the verses were indeed revealed in other places and some of the verses were revealed in transit, right, from one place to another. But all of the verses of the Quran were revealed on the face of the earth except for 2 verses, and those 2 verses being Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 285 and 286, the last 2 verses of Surah Baqarah. And if you don't know the context, more about these 2 verses, then you will not be able to appreciate fully what I'm talking about. These 2 verses were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam during his journey, which we normally refer to as Miraj. So we know about the Isra and the Miraj. Isra was the journey from Makkah to Jerusalem, and from Jerusalem to wherever Allah took him, that is the Miraj. So Isra and Miraj. And it was here that these two verses were given to him. Given to him as what? Given to him as a gift. I mean, the Quran is a book of guidance. Even these two are, part of that guidance itself. But these two are a gift to him. You come to someone and he welcomes you with a gift. These two are gift. And these two are in reference to what? These two are in reference to Salah. These two are in reference to Salah, nothing else. So for that, we need to explore the hadith of Isra and Miraj, which is a detailed hadith. We cannot cover everything. So the hadith is something like this, that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Jibreel Alayhi Salam took Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam along with him, and there he met with different prophets, and finally he reached Sidratul Muntaha, whatever that means. I mean, we know what that means, but that is a separate topic by itself. And the various interaction with all the prophets are all very relevant during his sort of, we can say, the return journey after having met with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether he saw or he did not see. That is another question, and we'll answer that question in a separate lecture session. That's a critical question. Don't jump to conclusions. It's not so easy. In fact, the two groups that are fighting, that one group says Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw Allah, the other group says that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not see Allah. Both refer back to the same hadith, and both translate the hadith massively wrong. So what you hear is a massively wrong translation. So that has its Arabic, we'll deal with that separately. So during his return journey, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned to him about the 50 obligatory 50 obligatory times in which he is supposed to perform salah, he was returning back, and on his return journey, in the sixth phase, so there were 7 phases in which he met different prophets. So where he met, on his return journey, he meets Musa alayhi salam. And so Musa alayhi salam tells him, you know what, you should go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and tell him to reduce this burden. To reduce the number of prayers. And he had his own reasons. He said, look, I was sent as a prophet to the Bani Israel, to the children of Israel, to what later came to be known as the Jews. So we were given just two times salah, and the people could not even keep up with that. So 50 times is too much. I have the experience of it. So you should go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask him to reduce the numbers. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam goes back, and he comes back, and again he meets with Musa Alayhi Salam. So now it is 45. And this happens, this reduction by 5 times happens till such time that it becomes 5. So many journeys had happened because of what Musa Alayhi Salam advised him or suggested to him. So the last part of the interaction is a bit interesting. And it is, this hadith is actually mentioned in several places in many of the books of hadith. But I'm talking from the, primarily I'm using the Sahih Muslim source. And but if you don't have the totality of the knowledge of the various narrations, because parts of the narrations are in different books. So you have to make it as a whole to understand it fully. So it so happened, so in the final phase, when it was 5, so Musa alayhi salam requested him to go back one more time. So now the end is sort of confusing if you think that is the intended, that is the intended message, that is the actual message, that is the actual interaction, but it's actually narrating different phases of the narration. So some of the hadith statements narrate part of it, some others narrate part of it, then some others narrate part of it, and yet others may narrate some other part of it. So it's a bit confusing if you don't consider it as a totality. So what we'll do is since we have understood it as a totality, I'll explain to it as a totality. So the first reaction that so happens with Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is, so one of the things at the back of his mind is, so 50 becomes 45, 40, and it goes all the way to 10, 5. So if I go back again, I mean, what will I be left with? So after 5, what? It's 0. So that is obviously there at the back of the mind, though it is not explicitly mentioned in the hadith. But these are things which you can extrapolate, right? Sensible people can do that. So that was there at the back of his mind. But then Musa alayhi salam also provided with the information that 2 rakah and people were not able to keep up with that. So he did say to Musa alayhi salam that I am feeling shy I'm feeling shy that I should meet my Lord again. So Musa alayhi salam understands that. Some of the hadith, the conversation ends there, but it doesn't actually end there. It seems that Musa alayhi salam convinced him and he did make a journey back. And then another narration suggests that once I reached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I felt shy, so I did not speak about it, right? Then there is a third narration. I mean, all of these happen, but different hadiths, since it's coming from different narrators, they're actually able to narrate part of it, of the total event, so to say. The third hadith says that, I mean, there are multiple. The third hadith states, from which I'm taking the third bit of information, bits and pieces of information I'm giving you, right? Because the totality of all the information is not present in a single hadith. It's scattered. It says that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam probably felt shy, but he did speak up. He mustered up some courage, even though he felt shy, because Musa Alayhi Salam, and who is Musa Alayhi Salam? We know who is Musa Alayhi Salam, right? Kalimullah, the person, the only prophet with whom, the only human with whom Allah spoke direct. So he eventually has some interaction with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but then Allah says, okay, that is that. So it was in my decision that there should be 50 obligatory Islamic prayers, I mean salah, for your ummah. It was my decision from the moment the creation was envisaged, right? So you will pray 5 times, you will offer salah 5 times, but that will account for 50 rewards, 50 times. It will be equivalent to 50 times. So each time will be equivalent in reward to 10 times. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sort of understood that is the commandment of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So that is what we need to follow, and it will not get further reduced. I mean, some people make a light note of this and said that we should have, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam should have listened to the advice of Musa Alayhi Salam, and he should have reached and gone back to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala one more time, because they don't know, they're not able to gather information from these discrete sources and understand it as a whole. What you understand? You're understanding what I'm saying? So he did go, and this is the interaction that he had. And now he was finally given, okay, we'll have to offer these this salah 5 times. So salah, by the way, it has been obligatory because it is, something which is beneficial. It has been made obligatory for everyone. And it seems that the different salah, the origins are with different prophets. For example, Adam alayhi salam, the Fajr salah is associated with Adam alayhi salam, and Dhuhr salah with Nuh alayhi salam, and Asr salah with Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Maghrib salah with Ayyub alayhi salam, and Isha salah with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So it is there, and it has been there always. So even if you read, for example, the Bible, so you read about the different prophets offering salah. So that's there. Even in the other traditions, for example, in the Hindu scriptures, they have what you call today as Shashtang. Shashtang means Swa Ashtanga, 8 parts of the body. It's the exact same posture which the Muslims pray today, but the Hindus have forgotten, by the way. So the 8 parts of the body sort of touches the ground. So the 8 parts are the forehead and the nose, then the 2 palms, so that's 4, and then the 2 knees, and then the 2 feet, so that's 8, right? So, but in Islam, if you read other hadith statements, you will see that there are 7 parts of the body which should touch. It's just a matter of way in which you speak. For example, the head over there is counted as 1 unit. So, for example, whether you call these 10 fingers or 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, doesn't matter the way you count. It essentially refers to the same thing. That's what I'm trying to suggest to you. So it's essentially the same thing. So whether it's 7, 8, irrespective of that, the posture remains the same. So this is something which has always been there, because if something is of benefit to the human body and sort of mind and soul and spirit and whatever, then Allah will ensure that this benefit is given to all human beings, not just a section of the human beings. That would be unfair and unjust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, isn't it? So that is it then. So now there are two more parts of the discussion. One part is, okay, so in this context, the same time when Salah was given as obligatory to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for his ummah, for himself and for his ummah, 5 times, because it was there obligatory for everyone, every time, and throughout from the time of Adam al-Islam himself, this 5 times I'm talking about. So, and in this context, the verse number 285 and 286 was revealed. So the commandments, the instruction that is mentioned over there has to be related back to Salah. That is important. In that context, if we read that Allah does not burden any person except he or she has the capacity to bear it. And the more you have the capacity, the more Allah wants to reward you, the more you are expected to do. And that is how Allah will test you also and give you more and more responsibilities, so to say, more and more roles and duties and responsibilities. Rights, forget about rights for now. So these things I'm talking about, roles and responsibilities and duties, sort of on those terms. So as I said, so now I have answered the question. So what is Salah then? What is Salah? We have asked the question. I mean, we have asked several questions. It is not a burden. It is a gift. You've gone to someone and he's giving you a gift. And how foolish can we be that someone is giving us a gift and we say, no, we don't want the gift. The entire confusion arises from the fact, because today Salah has made out to be a burden. That is where the confusion starts or stems from. It is not a burden. In fact, when it was made obligatory, the medical science was not advanced enough to know that there are health benefits associated with it, whether it is for the body or for the mind or for whatever, soul, spirit, whatever you can say. So today we know that. Scientific evidence is there to suggest that even at that time when it was made obligatory, the benefits were still there. So it was given as a gift. We treat it as a burden. We force others and speak to them in such a harsh manner when we are trying to convince them to offer Salah. It seems to them it's a burden, and they are actually sort of not liking it at all. Who wants a burden? No one wants a burden. So if you were to present them as a gift, everyone would be happy to receive that gift. And if we back them up with evidence, especially in Akhir Zaman, when so many scientific advancements have been made, it seems so natural that everyone willingly would offer Salah. Okay, Salah not obligatory, another question. I mean, prayer not obligatory. Prayer I have explained before, right? So prayer not a second point. There are certain sects, we will not name them, among the Muslims, certain firqa, they say that no, it is a means to an end. Salah is a means to an end. So once you reach that level, then it is no more obligatory. So they don't offer Salah, and they think of themselves as very sort of spiritually excellent. Let me ask you a question. Let me pause and ask you a question. That is, have they become spiritually excellent more than the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Is that even a question? No. The answer is obvious. Obviously no. So if that is not the case, did Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ever leave the Salah? The answer again is no. Till his last time here on the earth, he continued with the practice. So if he, after having reached spiritual excellence to the highest level, where no one will be able to reach, if he did not leave, how can you, deficient human beings, whichever sect you belong to, doesn't matter to me, whatever reasons you can conjure up, your mind can conjure up, doesn't matter to me. It is a fallacious argument. So in that sense, also we have proven what we wanted to prove. And so we are coming to a close basically now. What else have we missed? I don't think I've missed anything. So Salah I started with prayer, not obligatory question. It is not obligatory for the reasons you think. Burden, I have clarified that. It is a gift. And as a gift, you would be more than happy to receive a gift. And you would be foolish enough not to receive a gift. I have cross-referenced it with the verse of the Quran and the entire thing. Obviously, the hadith itself, the hadith of Isra and Miraj itself is very vast and long. We've not been able to deal with it fully. We'll have another session to discuss it in full, inshallah. We'll do that also. As always, a few important things. So, I mean, you've got the one-word answer now. Not prayer, not obligatory, question mark. Answer is obligatory, full stop. So that's the answer. So, I mean, we will talk about, as I said, even in this topic, there are various things. The hadith itself is vast. We'll have a separate discussion on that. And that will be interesting. So what you can do is to subscribe to the channel so that you'll continuously get to know about the informative videos in the future, informative, interesting, and in-depth videos on various topics, inshallah. You can also leave a comment if you're liking this. More importantly, you can share your comments. Leave your comments so that we understand your appreciation of this topic. And also, you can, what should I say? You can share your comments so that what future topics you want to hear from us. That would be good as well to hear from you. In any case, we'll be making interesting videos. And finally, you should share as well this video so that others are benefited as much as you are being benefited from these lectures, these sessions. So that's it then for this session.